got some unique filler content coming your way. We're taking such a long time on the X month that I figured we'd do something else robot-related that I can blow through in about 50 minutes or so. Not enough people have heard of this game, and there's like a whole good reason why I'm gonna play Assault Suit Valken. Because I'm the only one that fucking plays anything, Myth!
We'll Super Metroid soon. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try something later.
No.
Hi Josh, how's it going?
You don't get to do anything. Alright, so this is basically a Gundam game. It's not, they're assault suits, not mobile suits, but there's a lot of similarities, and it's basically a war story. You might never have heard of Assault Suit Valken because this is actually a ROM. I've got the game! It's right here! Don't even worry about it. Here's the cartridge. I'm showing it to you. But this is the definitive version, which can be explained in a pretty easy history lesson, which I'll go into right now. The following is a short game history lesson. If you have no interest in extended data for a Super Nintendo game from over 22 years ago, click the annotation over there on the right to skip ahead. Some of you may be wondering why you've never heard of Assault Suits Valken before. Personally, I had never heard of it before stumbling upon Cybernator on the Wii Virtual Console. As it turns out, the game was just localized like garbage. Released in 1992, Assault Suits Valken was titled Cybernator outside of Japan, and was actually the second game in the running Assault Suits series. The first game, Assault Suits Lanos, was released for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive under the title Target Earth overseas in 1990. On top of its poor naming, it was also subject to much of the same censorship Valken had on the Super Nintendo. More on that in a moment. Valken was a prequel game to Lanos, and being a far newer game than its predecessor, played much better. The series as a whole suffered in the United States from various cut content and a small variety of removed story elements, as well as the title changes making it nearly impossible to tell that the two games were related. The US box art was also pretty misleading in both cases, though Cybernator less so than Target Earth. Both games also got their own sequels. Lanos 2 was released on the Sega Saturn in 1997. At first glance, Lanos 2 looks like a sequel to the original Valken. Just watching it, it looks almost identical to its predecessor with notable graphical improvements and additions to gameplay. Valken 2, on the other hand, was released on the PlayStation in 1999, but rather than playing as an action platformer, it was turned into a 3D tactical RPG, making it a far cry from the previous three games. As I mentioned before, the original Valken, our subject for today, seems to have endured some exceptionally rocky regionalization work. Aside from the normal practice of names being changed or mistranslated left and right, such as your teammates Kurt and Herman being named Mitch and Apollo respectively in the English release, character portraits and a plethora of in-game dialogue were cut out for reasons that I can't seem to find anywhere. The character portraits being removed, although odd, lacks the impact of the cut dialogue. Throughout the game, characters such as your captain, operator, and squad mates will cut in without interrupting gameplay to flesh out where they are and what they're doing in your current mission. While it isn't expressly required, seeing two assault suits launch before yours, then actually knowing that they're outperforming their own missions is a really intricate touch that offers a special polish many games of the era didn't have. In the US, all of that extra dialogue is cut or heavily shortened. In fact, the squad members are never mentioned until halfway through Mission 4, and a related plot development loses a huge amount of significance since the player was never really made to be aware of the two before then. There's also a full scene which was cut from the US release that does make some degree of sense, but for the sake of avoiding spoilers, I'll let you see it when it comes up in the playthrough. Overall, Cybernator doesn't suffer as a playable game on the Super Nintendo compared to its Super Famicom counterpart, but it's much less of a fulfilling experience because of the localization it received. Its sound, gameplay, and designs are all phenomenal, with or without the oddities in its two regional scripts. But I highly recommend the original version to really let yourself be immersed in this often overlooked piece of the Super Nintendo library.
Well,
Okay, cool.
That was fun.
Yeah. Now you know. But yeah, it's like, there's not a hugely great plot to it, but it's still really interesting, and it's an exceptionally satisfying action game that I wish did better in the United States, or just anywhere in general. The fact that this isn't a running franchise makes me genuinely sad. It's very rare that you play something that's supposed to feel heavy that actually is, but is satisfying, which a robot should be, like a big one.
Yeah.
Semi-Gundam size, but not really.
I fucking love a modern interpretation of this game, or an anime, or OVA, or literally anything.
I'd read just like a comic. There's a lot of potential to it. I mean, it is really just, like, when you boil it down, it's generic mech. Especially if you're reading this. Like, I don't even know why I'm fighting, because I'm a soldier, that's why I'm doing it.
Soldier.
But it makes sense. Like, it's a cool, realistic... I also like that you're not playing as a Superman. Like, you're just... you're a soldier. It's like, that's cool. There's not enough of stuff like that. And then you get the laser, and it doesn't hurt anymore at all. But yeah, it's really good. More people should play it. If you're gonna play it, either do it legitimately, because it's a really cool game, and owning the cartridge is a good thing for your collection. If you're not going to do that, then go for this emulation. We'll put the link in the description, because it is the definitive version. All of the cut content that we had in the Japanese version is now translated for the most part in this one. There are some ROM errors, but not enough to make it game-breaking or anything.
But this thing is on the original Wii Virtual Console, so you have no excuse not to go out and buy it, you fuckers.
Yeah, there's a really good amount of places to get it, and that's good. Oh, and there's a name entry option, but since this is technically the Japanese ROM, it's all characters, so I can't. I checked. I also like the mission briefings that you can skip that show your level route. It's cool. There's a lot of neat stuff. Oh, there's also an Easter egg that I might mess up. I'm gonna try to go for it, but if you go through the entire first level without killing anything, at this point it actually looks like you can't even break the power-up boxes. You get a special weapon, which I'll explain at level 2 if I don't get it. Otherwise it'll be spoilers if I do it now. So we'll see how it goes.
Ship design.
I like the design and the function. It's a cool function, too. Like, in-universe, it actually makes a decent amount of sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense is how they're sliding through these hull sections, but fuck it. Best assault boat.
Battering ram ship.
Hi, I'm here. I'm dumping my robots off inside you. Okay, cool. Fucking, it's muscle memory.
Captain, he almost fucked it up.
I love the captain's design. I want a Geordie LaForge visor that's made entirely out of chrome.
It's the future. Is this supposed to be like a space colony?
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah,
you're inside a colony right now that's got a warship that's being built inside it, and the spot that you rammed in, because your objective right now is to destroy the warship. That's what all that text was. It's supposed to be still under construction, but you come in and you're basically facing point blank against its main gun, and everybody's like, "Oh shit! It's already charging. That's terrible." It's kind of silly though, because like at the end of the level you get picked up at the end of the level by the ship, which means it just leaves, so there's really no peril here. If the energy unit connects, it can launch, but, you know, it's still inside dry dock, so...
You know, this game has a really fucking insane level of detail that, well, you can see it now, like the fucking shell casings, you can shoot, like, the floors and the walls, there's actually, like,
there's
damage.
Yeah.
Environmental damage.
Yes.
Very done well.
Especially for something this old,
Yeah. It's a really high quality game.
Well, except for...
Well, I mean, that's just blown up. Hi, I'm a ship.